Hey everyone, thank you for joining me down in my basement. This time we're going to do something a little bit different for a tech tip or a cyber video. We're going to talk about the coffee that we need to keep our technicians energized and IT guys need to be energized. So those that know me, I like to brew my own beer, but I also about 6-7 years ago started brewing our own Nitro cold brew coffee. So that's what we're talking about today is Nitro cold brew coffee. I have it on tap here at home. We have a kegerator at the office full of it, and we also have a traveling kegerator that we take around to our clients that I'll show you. But what I want to show you is how we make it for the office. I often get asked by our clients, how do you make it? So I'm going to do this video to show them how to make it and to show you guys how to make it. And basically, what we do to start off with is it's super simple to make Nitro cold brew coffee. So what I do is I start with the San Francisco roast from Starbucks. I get it from Costco. I get it from Costco. They've got the big grinders there. You got to make sure you grind it on coarse, but that's what it takes. It takes 4 pounds of this, and to make it simple, 4 pounds is also 2 gallons. So I have a 1 gallon jug here that I use to do it. So I do 2 of these to make the coffee, and what we do to make that in is I have a 5-gallon brewing bucket. So this is from Brewer's Best Kits. It's an ale pail. It's got a spigot on it so that we can drain the coffee out. But I make it in this, and I make it in it using I have a nylon filter that goes in first. So we take that nylon filter goes inside, and that keeps it just in case the bag breaks, to keep the big chunks out. And so that goes in. Once that big filter is in, I take this 5-gallon toddy paper filter, and all of these parts in the comments, but this 5-gallon toddy filter goes inside of that. And that's it. That's where the coffee goes into. And then we take our 4 pounds or 2 gallons of coffee grounds, and this is already full of coffee grounds, and we just pour that in there. And you want to make sure that you're pinning the edge of the paper down. I've learned that lesson the hard way a few times to make sure that we don't accidentally get coffee grounds outside the filter, because what this goes through is a stout tap, and a stout tap has really fine holes in it, and so we don't want to clog that up. But we'll take 2 of these. Doesn't have to be accurate and doesn't have to be perfect, and we'll pour this one in there as well. And that's it. 4 pounds, 2 gallons of coffee. And that's all now in my filter. And you can see the filter, the nylon filters over the edge, the paper filters within that with the coffee grounds in. Now, before we add water, one key thing that I've messed up more than once is making sure that the actual spigot is closed so that you don't start filling it up and have water come out. And then we fill it up with cold water. You want to make sure you got cold water coming out. The cold water makes sure that we don't have oils and stuff that ruin the coffee. And so once we get it coming out cold, I usually use the spray. The spray makes it a little bit more likely. It gets it down deeper into the grounds so that it all mixes up in there, because I like to make sure that all of the grounds down to the bottom are moist. Sometimes I'll do half of it. I'll do maybe 1 gallon or 2 pounds in there to start with. But I found out that really it makes no practical difference as long as the grounds get wet. So now I just do all 4 pounds at the same time. And so we'll let that go, and then I'll fill that up about halfway, because what we want to do after we get it filled up is tie it off and seal the actual paper filter. And it works better too if you have high pressure. If you don't have high pressure water, then you may want to fill it up partway, let it sit, and then gently and very carefully stir it with something that's not going to tear up your paper bag. your paper filter. And I like using the paper filters from Toddy because they do a lot better job. The paper filters from Toddy do a lot better job of filtering out all of the coffee grounds, because we don't want coffee grounds coming out into our keg. And so as we let this set a second, once we get this done, this thing has to sit here for, I usually do it about 16 to 18 hours. You also want to make sure you're careful and you don't spray down the top of it. What we end up with is the coffee grounds in there just like that. And then I am going to make sure that it is tied off securely so the grounds don't get out. Okay, so now I tied that off. As you can see, there's a string that comes with the Toddy filters. And now all we have to do is flip this over off of take the spring off, or the string off of that, fold it over. That does not have to be sealed because the paper is sealed. And I'm just going to fill up the rest of the jug right now and let our bucket fill up, and then we'll be back.